What's up, guys? I'm Jeff, the founder of Worldwide Cyclery, and you've probably been hearing a lot about this new geometry a lot of bike companies are leaning towards, which is longer wheelbases, slacker head angles, and a shorter offset fork. I'm out on the trail today to test these things out. So what I have here are two of my own bikes. This is a 2018 Transition Smuggler. So Transition kind of, I won't say pioneered, because I think there's a bunch of other brands that had kind of been doing the long, low, slack trend before Transition, but I think Transition maybe did pioneer the shorter offset fork to pair with that concept to make it really work better. And the idea that Transition had really is if they could make the bike longer, wheelbase longer, longer reach, steeper seat tube angle. Again, they're going for the best of both worlds. They want it to climb better, better body position when you're climbing with that steep seat tube, and then longer wheelbase so it's a little bit more stable at speed, slacker so it works better downhill, but then pulling that fork back with a shorter offset so it can still maneuver and work really well at slow speed and going uphill, like an uphill switchback per se. This bike is a 2018 Yeti SB45, and this bike is now no longer. For 2019, Yeti discontinued this, and they sort of replaced this and their old 5.5 with a SB100, 130, and 150. But the big differences between these two bikes right here are this one's not as long wheelbase wise, it's not as slack, and it has a 51 offset fork as opposed to a 44 offset fork. So I've spent a lot of time on both of these bikes, and we're gonna do, out here today, we're gonna do a lot of back-to-back riding footage on different things, everything from high-speed stuff to cornering tests and slow-speed switchbacks, and we're just gonna see. I mean, you can't really call this old-school geometry because it's still not really old. But it is a little bit, right? Because like Yeti kind of went away from this geometry and they went towards what Transition started earlier than them, which is longer, slacker, and an offset fork. But I'm gonna ride these things back to back and just talk about it and do a little comparison, and you guys can decide for yourself, watching it on film, how does it look, right? I mean, do I need to change my body position? Does it really work that much better in different scenarios? Is it that revolutionary, or is it a minor iteration? Does it make one bike more fun than the other one? Let's find out. Well, so far this is really fun. Not because one bike's better than the other, but because I'm outside riding bikes. Well, so far, man, not really that surprising, right? I mean, myself as a bike nerd, I kind of knew what to expect with this, and it kind of makes sense, right? So, I mean, longer wheelbase has advantages, going faster through rough sections. Slacker head angles, even with the offset fork, is still a little harder to maneuver around, really tight, slow corners, whereas the 51 mil offset and the steeper head angle gets around that stuff better. So yeah, so far nothing super surprising. Both bikes are riding good, and it's definitely pretty interesting to get out there and ride each one back to back. This isn't like a perfect scientific experiment per se, because obviously these are two different bikes. They do both have 140 mil Fox 34 forks on them, but this one being the 44 offset, this one being the 51 offset. They have the same tires, nearly the same build on them. Same width bars. They're definitely pretty similar, but still different bikes. But definitely interesting to ride these things back to back through tight corners and faster corners and different stuff out here. Pretty cool. Well, I've spent the better part of a day riding both of these bikes back to back on the exact same trails, the exact same corners, jumps, steep chutes, switchbacks, climbing, descending, all of that. And is there a clear winner? No, not really. They're both super fun. Just like anything in the bike industry, right? There's just so many different bikes available these days, which is really awesome because you can pretty much get the perfect bike for exactly what you want out of it and what you do. Are there some advantages on the downhill with a longer wheelbase and a slacker bike? Absolutely, but you know, that's nothing new. Did they make this thing longer? Did they make a trail bike longer and slacker and work better downhill and not sacrifice as much efficiency uphill? Absolutely, and that's the idea behind the new Geo. It's to make the thing work better downhill without sacrificing its uphill performance, and I definitely think the new Geo accomplished that. It's not monumental, right? I mean, it's a small iteration like we're seeing a lot these days because bikes are pretty impressively optimized. So small iteration, it did what it was supposed to accomplish. However, they're both still incredibly fun, and is your smile gonna be any different at the end of the trail on either geometry? Absolutely not. Let us know what you guys think in the comments about this new geometry that all the bike brands are going. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next one.